Hey everybody, CreamCrazy here, finally doing a video. Finally! I've tried, I keep saying this whenever I record a video to try and put on, that I have recording problems, that I have uploading problems. I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna try and upload something. If you manage to watch this, thank fucking God you are watching this, because I will finally managed to upload something, and I'm happy. The only problem I'm doing this now is it's 7:15 in the morning. I am really tired, and I ended up only getting a couple of hours sleep. Yet the first thing I thought of doing was, why not make a video? I mean, this is something awesome that I'm having to do this when I know I mostly have a day off at college today. So I'm kind of happy I'm getting to do this. Now, the one thing that you don't want to wake up to first thing in the morning is something bad happening. Of course, the New Zealand miners are feared dead. That was not something I wanted to wake up to first thing this morning. But the other thing I didn't want to wake up to this morning was to hear that Mark Pearson, the best UK reviewer of wrestling on YouTube, and my favourite wrestling talker guy on YouTube, has had his partnership removed. Now, this was all up to YouTube telling him that his ad account for his partnership got removed, and apparently you can't have a partnership without it. And they didn't even bother to tell him that you only had a week to put it up again to keep the partnership. And I think YouTube, you made a mistake on that point. You didn't email Mark. You never actually, if this happens to other people, if you ever have had a partnership and you have had your ad account removed, did you know that you had to put it back up again to be able to keep your partnership longer than a week? I don't think so. Because if I was in Mark's position, I would expect YouTube, as the multimedia conglomerate they're part of, which is Google, to actually tell them, users, what they want to know, what they need to know. It's like a bank telling me if my money was taken from me in a fraud from my account and I noticed some fraudulent activity, I'd have to tell them, or they'd give me a warning to tell me that this has happened and what appropriate action should be taken. That is what a bank does. If YouTube, a conglomerate of ginormous internet proportions and a lot of media proportions, I mean, Google have enough money to shake a stick you couldn't even shake a stick at. The thing is, if you're going to run something like YouTube, get it right. Because every time I've uploaded something, it's always been edited by 4 minutes or so. The 15-minute upload time has really, really helped. I still haven't been able to do it. I've still had my videos edited by your stupid people who, apparently for the sake of it all, don't want to actually do it. You always say, oh, it's for editing purposes. When someone has their video for longer than it should and has extended breaks, you have to cut it down to save time. I know some people wouldn't want to hear me talk for 10-15 minutes on end, but if I have something to rant, I will bloody do it. Right, I got that out of the way. I'm still tired this morning, but I'm going to hopefully wear through that and get this video done. Watching Monday Night Raw on Tuesday night because of the stupid Sky Plus. I don't want to watch 2 o'clock in the morning because I have college the next day. I'd love to, but I don't. Surprising to see The Miz win the title, because I would thought, because he didn't really wrestle on the card at all at Survivor Series, he just basically was there cutting what was a face promo, but only to catch cheap heat in the city of Miami. I thought for one this would actually happen, that Wade would win the title, and then have Miz screw him over. Or better yet, Cena turning heel at the same time, the shock would be too much to bear to have a heel Cena happen, and then to have Miz win the championship. It kind of mattered at that point, and I don't understand why WWE didn't jump on it. No wonder your pay-per-views have been lacking, because you haven't actually done something which makes people want to watch them. So say, if people tell you, oh, Miz won the championship on Sunday night at the pay-per-view, didn't you hear? And they go, what? Miz won the damn championship? And it makes you want to order the repeat to watch it yourself. WWE's pay-per-view buys on the night may not be that big, but just imagine all the repeat buys just to watch that moment. Just to watch not only Cena turn heel, but Miz winning the championship. It would have worked, wouldn't it? And I just think, you don't want to make Raw more important than one of your most established pay-per-views. Raw was awesome last night, I'll bang on that. But I think Miz being champion is a good thing, but you should have done it at the right time. I would have waited until maybe Survivor Series. I would have waited till then. But, yeah, I mean, he's held it since July. Survivor Series was a good time. But then again, it's always the monumental screwjob session. He could have easily done it. Waited until TLC, maybe. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. Any of those times, I would have been happy. I would have been happy any time. I just was not satisfied as to when. The Miz will be a great heel champion, a vulnerable heel champion, because he'll have Alex Riley in his corner, who will probably inevitably screw it up for him. And I'm happy to see Alex Riley got a bit of exposure before getting squashed by Ezekiel Jackson on Monday. It was a good thing to see. The other thing, I'm happy to see the return of King of the Ring. I am really happy to see it. The only small problem I have with the King of the Ring returning is, where will it go with the winner? What happens to the winner? Does the winner get a shot at their brand's championship at TLC or the Royal Rumble? Or where? Because I want to know why I should give a shit. I know it's King of the Ring, I should give a shit about that. But unfortunately, if there's nothing to really win someone something apart from possibly a gimmick change and possibly some exposure on both shows, then that doesn't make sense to me if you only want to give someone a gimmick change to then push them for a championship way on after they've milked the damn thing for a few months. Booker T, I'm looking right at you on that one, because you milked it for a few months before you got the championship. I would have given you the match straight away. Makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you win King of the Ring, I often think you don't have to have been you shouldn't be a former champion if you're going to go win King of the Ring, which rules Sheamus right out of the brackets before this thing's even started. Sheamus is probably going to get screwed, or I'm thinking John Morrison will end up getting there and beating him later on. If it turns out, I know it probably won't be a Raw versus Raw type thing, because I don't know if Raw people will face off against Raw people in this King of the Ring. We're just going to have to wait and see, I suppose. But I think, obviously, my favourite to win this, I'm a little biased, is Daniel Bryan. I've looked at the spoilers for SmackDown. I know who is going to be in there, and I still think Daniel Bryan is probably going to win it, or make it to the final and then get beaten by a SmackDown guy. I don't want to reveal who they are, because you obviously don't want to hear. I'm going to watch SmackDown on Friday. I just didn't want to wait. And it's going to be good to see this King of the Ring back. 3-hour Raw, not so keen on, but I'm happy to see it. And the one thing I don't understand, and I have never understood it, that the angles in WWE don't last. I think we all know that there's always, when there's always a stipulation on the line in something, people don't stick with it anymore. You have people like John Cena who said he's going to leave, then he comes back and screws Wade Barrett. He's going to bring him back, isn't he? Wade Barrett's going to unfire him so he can take his anger out, have a match at TLC, win a number one contender to the Royal Rumble for the championship, and if that happens, I will actually scream at the TV. I will go on here, post a video of why WWE is slowly failing, and it's obvious, because they're not allowing loopholes and storylines, close off the loopholes, stop things from happening. You've got to let them time to set in. And I'm surprised the Raw rating hasn't actually gone up since then. Because seriously, if you think about it, Cena leaving, I know some people don't think it's actually real. I mean, I don't know. It's not real. I know it's not real. Fuck it. I know he's still under contract with a talent contract that goes along into the next decade-ish or so. I know that John Cena leaving would kill merchandise. I think a lot of the young fans know that, because I think more people would have tuned in. More people would, I think, imagine this. If John Cena had actually turned heel at Survivor Series on Sunday, would it have actually increased the buy rate for Raw? Would it have increased it? That's my main question of the day. Do you think YouTube, that if Cena turned heel, he would actually have increased the buy rate for Raw? Because a 3.3 for an after pay-per-view that has John Cena leaving, that does not make sense to me. And I'm annoyed quite a lot by that he didn't turn heel. I know WWE think, it's not the right time to turn him heel. But think of it, it could be the 21st century's Hogan. moment. Because Cena is over like the moon, and you don't want to ruin... Other people say, oh, you don't want to ruin the face push or the merchandise. But the merchandise doesn't matter to a person like me. I only buy CM Punk merchandise, and I'm going to buy a Nexus t-shirt when I'm in London in April watching Raw. I'm getting a Nexus t-shirt then. I'd only buy CM Punk merchandise. You aren't going to get anything from me for Cena stuff. So since last time when I was next to about 5 fucking kids who kept bragging on about Cena. Yeah, makes sense. And the other, I was going to say one other thing. Gimmick pay-per-views. I have ranted about this to myself for a long time. There's only one of them, there's only, I think, 2 of them that need to be around. 2 of them. And they are Money in the Bank, because the pay-per-view in itself was alright. I didn't like the fact they were moving it from WrestleMania to a pay-per-view, but I will give and take. It was a good show, and it actually had a lot of excitement, and you had no idea, I had no idea who was going to win those matches. So I was happy. Then the other one, bragging rights. It's a concept that I like. It's something you don't get a lot of brand unity and brand loyalty most of the year. Sorry about that. And I think it's good to see that they're actually taking it to this level where you get to have them going against each other. I just don't think a 7-on-7 match is worth it. I thought this was an idea. This was an idea that came into my head about a few weeks ago when Bragging Rights was actually on. And I thought to myself, they could have Raw versus SmackDown matches, and each win, there will be a tag team, 6-man tag, or triple threat matches, and you have whoever wins, whichever brand wins the match, gets a win notched up against their name, and after all the matches are over, by the time the event is ended, one brand will have more wins than the other, and they will win the stupid cheap-ass trophy. And that'll be pretty good, in my opinion, because you've got all these kinds of matches. You can mix it up. Hey, you could even put championships on the line and have them switch brands that way instead of the damn draft every year. That would make it exciting. You could see the Intercontinental Championship go over to Raw for one night before the US title gets put back over there. Anything can happen. And I think that would really make you think, after you put matches up, thinking, ooh, Sheamus versus someone like Kaval, he's going to get his ass kicked. And then something surprising happens. You can build all kinds of feuds from that. You could build a WrestleMania feud a few years in advance based on a match there. That is just my opinion, and I hope to God it makes sense. Other gimmick pay-per-views? No. I don't like them. It takes away from the matches they are holding. Extreme Rules, we can have those matches any time. We don't need a pay-per-view with everything to be violent. One Night Stand was awesome, but unfortunately it's just run its course. I think we need to put more violent matches as specialty matches. They're called specialty matches for a reason. They're special. TLC, like I said, TLC, Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. I mean, you vote for these. It's like WWE rigged the votes for these. The only new pay-per-view name, which I actually bloody like, is Over the Limit, because that at least hasn't got a gimmick attached. And I want WWE to at least reconsider, because these kids who are watching are not that brain dead. So, obviously the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, where the Elimination Chamber is involved. No shit! I don't give a shit. No Way Out worked because you were stuck inside a chamber and there was no way out. That made sense. I could go on about this all day, but I've noticed the clock says 14 minutes. I'm going to have to go. I've got to do some stuff this morning and I want to get on with it. So I hope you guys enjoy my semi-rant on things, and I hope I can upload another video soon. See ya.